I'm Rachel Maines with Crawford Media Group, and joining me today is Kim Monson with The Kim Monson Show that airs on our sister station, AM 560. Kim, welcome.
Rachel, great to be with you.
Great to have you to discuss the 2024 Colorado Voters Ballot Guide. Kim, you've done the legwork. You know, it is voting season. This is really necessary for us to really understand the issues. I've said to you multiple times, they make it confusing.
You think?
Right?
I think, Rachel, that people have ballot fatigue. As you look at just on the state issues, not including any of the local issues or county or school district issues, there's 14 issues on the state ballot alone. And people are busy. They want to do their civic duty. They want to vote. They want to be informed. And then you have all of this chatter out there and all of these campaigns that are coming at people to try to convince them to pass something that probably isn't in our best interest. So that's why I did the voter's guide.
Yes. Kim, how many years have you done a voter's guide?
I think I started in 2015, and Rachel, it was one of the first voter's guides out there. Now there's all kinds of voter's guides, but I think people have come to really trust this because I'm not paid or coerced to take a position. I look at each of these issues as what is best for the individual, and also how does that match up with our American idea of limited government where the individual has liberty. And so that's my lens that I work on as I put this voter's guide together.
How long does it take you to study the issues?
Hours. This took hours and hours between Zach, my media marketing guy, and he put together something beautiful. If you've taken a look, if you go to my website, kimmonson.com, just request the guide. All you need to do is put in your name and your email. And that way, if something changes or some update, we can let you know. But then you'll get a link. You'll receive a link for the one-page summation of everything, and then also the online version. And Zach went through and actually chose historical and Renaissance paintings that had some relevance to the actual issue. And so it makes it somewhat pleasant to go through and do that research, but it took us hours and hours.
Well, thank you for doing this. So many of us, we don't have time within our busy lives, but we want to be good citizens, and we want to make sure that we're voting correctly and with the value system that you have and that you talk about on your show. Now, Kim, let's go over, we don't have time to go over all of them, but let's highlight some really important issues here.
Okay, let's go through one that was really difficult. First of all, amendments to the Constitution should be very few and far between. And there's 7 questions on the ballot as amendments to the Constitution. And I'm a no on all those. And we shouldn't be cluttering the Constitution with a lot of different amendments. But the first one was difficult for me to take, and that was it's a property tax break for unemployable veterans. And Rachel, as you know, I love our veterans. I love our military, and it's almost like they use our veterans to get us to pass things that are not good. So the underlying issue here, well, two things, is first of all, putting people into groups, dividing us, and then taxing people differently is unfair, and it's based in Marxism. And so the bottom line, though, as we really think about it, is property taxes are too high. And so ultimately what we should do instead of passing Amendment G is lower property taxes across the board for everyone. That way, then our unemployable veterans get a tax break, but also we need to lower that for everyone. So that's the premise that I took, and it was gut-wrenching to take that position, but I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's what happens. The language with a lot of these amendments, it confuses you because you think, yeah, I love veterans. And then if you don't really take the time like you've done to really look at that and have the proper lens, we end up voting yes, and we don't really know what we voted for.
Right. And so it's so important to delve into this. Another one is, is Amendment 79. And that would enshrine in our Constitution taxpayer-funded abortion. So this is not really the abortion question, although that is certainly part of it, but to enshrine in the Constitution that taxpayers pay for someone else's abortion, that should not be an amendment to the Constitution.
Right. Really good. Okay, what's another one, Kim?
This has been one that has actually been supported by a number of Republicans and conservatives, and is Amendment 80, which is school choice. And initially when I read the ballot question, of course, we love the fact that we could have school choice, but we link the text to what you're really voting on. Because the ballot question is just a summation. And if you go to the text, the second bullet point, the first bullet point says that parents should have the right to direct the education of their children, school choice. And that sounds good, but the second bullet point says children K through 12 have the right to school choice. That looks to me like it is boxing parental rights out. And when I asked the organizers that had put this on the ballot, I said, I'm very concerned about this language. And they said, well, we've talked to our attorneys and they're just fine with it. I see this as danger to enshrine this in the Constitution where it's ambiguous regarding parental rights, or does the child have the right to school choice? Because it is probably well-intentioned but poorly written, I recommend a no.
Yes. Really good, Kim. Thank you. Let's talk about another issue.
Let's go to Proposition 131, which is ranked choice voting. And that is being sold as modernizing our elections. Are you tired of the parties fighting with each other? All that rhetoric. And of course, people are tired of politics. But what ranked choice voting would do is basically take away your one person, one vote. There's actually two questions in this ballot question. One is, first of all, what's called jungle primaries. So you could have 10, 15, 20 different people on your ballot. First of all, Rachel, how are you going to research each and every one of them? And then many times politicians don't tell you who they really are.
Right.
So it would be very difficult to research all of these people in this jungle primary, and you could only vote for one. But then out of that, the top 4 vote getters then go to the general ballot, and you would rank them 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so you do that. And so a person might get 49% of the vote. They might be the top vote getter. But then there's all these different rounds of computer calculations of the lowest vote counter. They are removed from the ballot. Their second and third choice is recalibrated, and they go through another round. And ultimately, you could have a candidate that maybe only got 25 or 30% of the vote, ultimately being declared the winner because of this computer algorithm recalculation. Very difficult to audit, and it really dilutes your vote of the person who you really want to get elected. So it's very bad, but there's big money that is being put into it. Last I checked, just under $11 million to try to get people to vote for it. And people from both sides of the aisle are supporting it, which is very disappointing. But bear in mind, that kind of money coming in is not because they want to make sure that we, the little guys, our voices are heard. What will happen is only the rich or the candidates that the rich choose will ever be able to get onto the ballot. So I'm a strong no on Prop 131, ranked choice voting.
Yeah. Sounds so confusing. That's a red flag to me. It's like, I can't even understand this. It's like this percentage and that. When it gets real confusing, it's like, why are we trying to make it confusing? Simple is always best, in my opinion.
Well, and I think it was James Madison, one of our founding fathers, said that the laws should not be so voluminous that we can't understand them.
Right.
And that's how we've gotten into this position right now. We have all these laws and amendments and propositions, and we need to have less, not more.
Exactly. All right, Kim, what's another issue?
Well, I guess I'll go big picture. Arapahoe County, Jefferson County, and RTD and Lakewood, they are all asking to de-Tabor. Now, Tabor is our Colorado's Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. And you hear pundits all the time talk about greedy businessmen, or is it, Thomas Sowell, the economist, said, is it really greedy for me to want to keep more of my own money? But so this detabering would mean that excess revenue above a very generous formula under Tabor of inflation plus population growth, if these entities want to keep that additional revenue, then they just need to ask us. Well, these questions are saying, we don't want to ever have to ask you again. And also under Arapahoe and Jefferson County, they have property tax caps. And this would get rid of that as well. So the answer on all of those, Arapahoe County, Jefferson County, RTD, and Lakewood detabering, should be no. And the reason is so that you can keep more of your money in your pocket instead of greedy governmental entities wanting to keep it all.
Yeah. That's good, Kim. And I'm talking to Kim Monson, the host of The Kim Monson Show. And you can go to her website, kimmonson.com. Also, we have some great resources, including Kim's voter guide. If you go to our website, 670kltt.com/vote. That's 670kltt.com/vote. So, Kim, what's another issue?
Proposition KK, which is an excise tax on firearms and ammunition. And this is a direct assault upon the Second Amendment. And what I'm really concerned about is that it is going to make it more expensive, particularly for that single mom that might be in a neighborhood that is dangerous. And right now we're having our neighborhoods become more and more dangerous. And she may want to have a firearm to protect herself and her family. This excise tax would make it more difficult for her to do that. And so that is why I am really recommending a strong no on Proposition KK, because it is unconstitutional, but it also makes it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. And the bad guys are not going to pay this tax. It's only going to be us, the law-abiding citizens, that would pay it. So we're a strong no on that as well.
Great. What's another issue, Kim?
I would say that this Proposition 127 regarding limiting the hunting of predators, of big cats, there still will be management of those cat populations, but it will be done by government, which means we'll be paying taxes to do that. Right now, we have a very healthy management of predators between the Colorado public, wildlife, and our hunting industry, which brings a lot into the economy. And so this is really, I think, trying to prevent hunters from being able to hunt these big cats and keep those populations in check. And Rachel, a man hunting predators has been part of the big circle of life since the beginning of time. And so when you take that out of the equation, then the predator populations grow, makes it more dangerous for our livestock producers, but it also makes it more dangerous as people like to go to the mountains to hike. And so that's a strong no on Prop 127 as well.
And I just want to mention, once again, you can go to Kim's website, kimmonson.com, and learn more about her radio program, where she talks about these issues daily and has great guests on. And you can put your name in and email and sign up for the voter guide as well. Kim, anything else that we can go over? We have a couple minutes left.
Okay. Basically, on my voter's guide, I am recommending a no on all of the state issues except Proposition 128, which seemed like it made sense to me that violent offenders would serve most of their sentences before they were eligible for parole. That seemed to make sense to me. I've had some people that have reached out and said that no, that they would disagree with me on Proposition 128, but that one still makes sense to me, so I am a yes on that. Otherwise, I'm recommending no on everything. But don't take my word for it. Look at my reasoning, see if it makes sense to you. Great. If you see it differently, I'm not offended. I just want you to think about these issues.
Right. Get us involved in the process. Thank you so much. I've been talking with Kim Monson. You can go to her website, kimmonson.com, learn more about her radio show. Also, go to our website. We have a link to Kim's voter guide, but we also have more resources. It's 670kltt.com/vote.
Rachel, thank you.